Hello, hello. What is up, Lexi?
Hello, Mandy. How are you on this beautiful Wednesday?
I'm good. I'm good. It's definitely full moon vibes. I'm feeling it. A little bit heavy energy. I'm mooning with the moon, so I got that going on and a big release happening. And here in South Jersey, it is brisk and windy as fuck. Like so many crazy wind gusts all night and today. What's
Oh,
going on up there?
oh, we actually have a really nice sunny day. It is cold. Let me tell
Yep.
you what. Very chilly, very brisk. Some nice wind. We got lots of tree branches a swaying. In this beautiful state, you kind of got to be on guard for that while you're driving because you know, it's the wild out here. We're in the wild of the winter, and I'm just so happy to see the sun. I am so happy to see the sun to the point where I've been like just making sure to get time to worship the sun and
Mm.
like stand with your palms open and just like bask in it every morning. And it's been amazing because there's been days where it snowed, but I still get this like little window where I get to connect with the sun, and then it snows the rest of the day, or it's like flurry and cloudy, and I'm like, thank you, morning sun prayer, morning sun meditation for holding that space with me because I need that right now after all this thick of winter.
It sounds like it's like just enough to like charge you up too.
Oh,
For those of you who don't know, Lexi and I like to practice because your palms are an extension of your heart chakra. And if you hold it up to the sunlight at any point during the day, it will literally recharge your heart chakra. It'll cleanse it, rebalance it. You'll feel all this light and energy flush through you and through your cells. And it's like, you'll feel like, your heartbeat starts to pulse and it's really cool. So if you haven't played with that at all yet, we definitely encourage you to.
mm, I
If
love.
you're tuning in, welcome. This is Unschooled Live. Unschooled is a really interesting container and space and show that Lexi and I created. We're on season 3 of it right now, and we're going live this season to talk about all the things that we wish we learned in school, all the things that we maybe learned that we want to relearn or rewire, and all that good stuff, and just things that we might want to come into light or our attention or we want to have discussions around. So we never quite know where Spirit's going to lead with Unschooled. Every now and then we will have a guest, we will have topics, and we certainly encourage you to comment and to let us know if there's anything you want to discuss or what's going on. So at this point, we have a couple things. Sea Goddess Healing Arts, if you're in the New Jersey area, I'm teaching an in-person class tomorrow night called How to Build a Relationship with Your Angels at Wellness Landing, and it's amazing there. It's in Mays Landing, New Jersey, and it's going to be fantastic. We have some Goddess in Recovery group coming up with Lexi. We have a Self-Love and Self-Care 101 online workshop in a couple weeks. Ursula is going to be teaching a lunar alchemy class. We have online soul circle and much more. So stay in tune with us. And happy full moon. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the full moon. Lexi's going to give us a little rundown. What do we got going on in these moon vibes, Lex?
So it is the full worm moon, and I
Mm.
get a kick that it's called the full worm moon. And the reason why it's called the full worm moon is because this is the moon that starts waking up the worms within our frozen ground and within the ground and getting that kind of that readiness for spring. Worms also eat and produce, their the way that they work is they're part of the ecosystem, right? They help produce rich soil. So we need worms. We need these little critters in our life to have a fruitful harvest come this spring. So, how in alignment with what we've been talking about with this in between with our soul broadcast this month about this in between the dark winter and that fruitful warmth of summer, right? Where we're feeling lit up. We're still kind of in that phase where it's, we're not quite there. We're still in the darkness. We still are feeling a lot of thickness and heaviness. And so this worm moon can tend to bring up a lot of personal issues too. Just like it's waking up the worms in the ground, it wakes up the worms that are in our body.
Mm.
And so through that, we might be experiencing indigestion. heartburn, gastric issues, diarrhea, upset stomach, not the ability to, like, difficulty sleeping, mood, and like 70% of America has worms. Like, we're one of the only countries that does not make it like free access and prescribe normal regular deworming. Like, there's third world countries that even as a visitor you can get for free deworming, like, because
Mm,
is, acknowledged everywhere but in our country for some reason. Why could that be, Mandy? Right? Because the worms then live and hide within the toxins and metals that get built up and stored within our body, which then cause bloating, gas, pain, pressure, inflammation, headaches, fatigue, all of that gunk that we feel like we're weighed down with. They hide in there. They get to hide, and then they can send signals to our brains for cravings like sugar, and things that we really do not want to be putting into our body. So it's really the moon that I feel like that calls us out to cleanse. And so
it's that final release. It's like we get to release with the full moon. We get to cleanse. And it's weird to talk about these things, but like, wouldn't you rather know than not know? Wouldn't you want to give yourself the opportunity to release, to cleanse, to find your balance if that's an option?
yeah,
So it's always strange to talk about, but I'm really glad you brought it up.
but we're also like meant to, we've gotten so out of tune as humanity of living within the seasons, and these seasons, our body goes through seasons just like the earth, and a lot of the times it's that coincidence, right? It's calling us to cleanse now. It's calling us to, wake up the parts inside of us that we've been pushing down, right, and laying dormant too, calling us to bring that awareness to that in between time and be present at this in between time. It may feel messy, dark, mucky, but remember, you have to bury that seed and let it do its transformation before you start to see it take sprout, right? It has to have that time of darkness, that time of in between, the in between of the phases of planting and sprout. So
Totally.
it's so potent. And if we can bring our awareness to it, there's the potency, right? There's step one, bringing our awareness to these facts, bringing our awareness to, oh, we are we feeling this rise within us? It's because, our body wants to live in season and in tune with the earth. Like, it's the same thing goes with like how we're able to walk outside and like touch a tree or just put your feet in the grass and feel that change, have that grounding experience, and it can affect your body's ions, your body's energy, your body's circuit. We need that. And so we are that in tune with Mother Earth, right? And it's time to make room to plant those seeds, to sprout them come this abundant next, seasons. So,
Totally.
and I love it because Moonology Oracle deck by Yasmin Boland, her full moon is surrender to the divine. Okay. So surrender to the divine, right? Like living in divine alignment with the seasons, with our body, surrendering, listening to what is our body trying to say. Hello, Liz from England. And then
Hi.
the full moon in Virgo, which we're in right now, is you are good enough. And I read this card because I think it is so good. And then it kind of leaves you with some potent shadow work, questions, things that you.
Absolutely. Give a shout out to what deck it is so that everyone knows. And
So it is the Moonology Oracle cards by Yasmin Boland. And it is, so
oh,
listen to, for this moon that we're in right now, this, as I call it, the worm moon, or as the almanac, Farmer's Almanac calls it, right? You are good enough. Full moon in Virgo. It's time to be really honest with yourself and understand what's led you to ask your question. Have you been humble to the point of being self-effacing? Humility is good, but it can go too far, and drawing this card suggests you may be underrating yourself. You don't have to be flash, just quietly certain that you are good enough. At the other end of the scale, you also need to honestly answer this question. Have you been too picky? The full moon in Virgo card needs some truthful answers. Once you've given them, it should be easier to see how you got where you are. Your next step should be more obvious to you. Pay attention to the details. Hard work brings results. Attune to the moon. Find a balance between the cosmic and the mundane in your daily life. Additional meanings for this card. Worrying too much will attract more things to worry about. Have you been overly critical? An apology may be in order. Stop second guessing yourself. Have you been second guessing yourself? I feel like that's something I'm hearing from so many people. Raise your karma by doing something good for someone else. The teachings. The full moon in Virgo is a time to declutter your life, your home, and your office. It's the time to sort what's good in your life from what's not serving you. It's all the time to clear out your energies via salt baths and meditations, and to practice getting more grounded by walking barefoot. No matter when you draw this card, it's a reminder that any time is a good time to start living a healthier life. And so I really feel like this worm moon, right, awakens us to become aware. What do we need to clean out? What are we holding on to that is not doing us any good, right? It could be physically, mentally, it can come in any array, relationships, personal habits, cleaning out your own home, making room, right? Getting rid of that stagnant energy. We're so unaware of how much things can actually hold, right? A lot of us have secondhand things and we're not even aware that it comes with its own energy. So it's time to make room and clear out physically, right? Because the more we physically clear out our body, the clearer that channel with spirit is going to become too. The stronger you're going to be able to understand it and read it and feel it, which will really help you live in alignment and flow.
Absolutely. I love it. I love all those themes. That's what's rising for so many right now. I just cleared out like a whole ton of books on my bookshelf. And I'm like, you know what? As much as books are like my favorite thing to keep, just like, a just in case thing, or to have in my library, or to be able to reference it whenever I want. But at the same time, I've been feeling that wanting to release, wanting to declutter, just going through stuff. Even just like we were vending for Sea Goddess this past weekend, and just little things like organizing our gift box, I call it, but it's like our box where we put like all of our bags and tissue paper and scissors and stickers and things like that, and like just getting rid of stuff that we're not needing. And I found myself yesterday, I was doing dishes and like putting some stuff away. I was like, none of us have used that coffee cup. I don't even know how long. And I just threw it out. I was like, I'm done. And so I love that that's the energy coming up right now. And hi, Emily. Emily said, ooh, yes, the clearing, making space. It's
Hi.
amazing what happens when we make space.
Isn't it so true? It's one of those things where I've been challenging myself to at least a couple times a week get rid of like at least one big bag of whether it's clothes, toys, something, whatever it is. So all week long, as I'm finding the things, fill it, get rid of it. Instead of like holding on to it, like I'm gonna sell this clothing or I'm gonna bring it to it. Just release it. Just lovingly release it. Think it, release it. And feels so clearing. It's like a weight has been lifted.
It has, and it's not always easy to do, but just like we were talking about with this energy, you feel it. You feel like this rumbling. All of a sudden this energy kind of comes through and you're like, yeah, I gotta throw some things out. I gotta get organized. I gotta move some stuff. And you will feel it. So don't put pressure on yourself either. If you're feeling like you need to rest, if you need to just rest and release and relax at this full moon, that's okay. But if you're feeling a lot of activation, that's why we got this worm moon going on, and it's a lot of energies right now. And we aren't in Mercury retrograde yet, but I think we've got one coming up in April.
And there's always that pre and post for retrogrades too. So, if anybody has a chance to listen to Ursula's, she just released, was it yesterday, right?
Yesterday or the day before, Becoming Chiron, her latest episode.
Yeah, Monday's episode. She released it on Monday. I kept pausing it. I had to keep pausing because I was like, oh my gosh. Like it was just, you kind of got to listen to it with your journal, I feel like, because it brings up so much. I felt like I love when she releases it because it is. She calls it her astro forecast, and it is. It's such a forecast. It helps you kind of feel I feel like empowered for your week, right? Because when you're understanding the energies ahead of time, I feel like you're able to walk in more embraced, ready to go, more with a plan, and more, able to, like, okay, so there'd be some challenging things. I'm gonna let it slide. There it is, and like watch it go like a tumbleweed, right?
Yes. Serena said, laugh out loud. Love this. Power cleaned my home this morning, or my home office this morning. Felt so good. Love you, Serena. So glad you're here. So glad you got to catch one of our lives. Serena's incredible. She's been a guest on our show, Token to Talk, which is going to be coming back soon. And she's an incredible energy and light in the world, and teacher and space holder. And we're just happy to have you here. And if you want to learn about magical things and growing, Serena's got lots of things, and maybe coming soon. We'll let you know. But she has an excellent episode on our Token to Talk, and you might enjoy learning from that. And that's something that's coming up right now for several things. Number one, we haven't even talked about it like in a while, but like Lexi and I definitely enjoy cannabis use, and it's definitely something that's supported both of us on our journeys. And we've been talking a little bit about the growing season and starting our plants and seeds for everything in the garden. And Emily said, yes, the rumbles. So true. It's back and forth between rest and into cleaning and removing. And Serena said, I love you. So glad to be listening right now. Your voice is magic. Oh, thanks, sister. Love you too. And so we're planting seeds for our gardens, for all the stuff coming up, for what's happening. And I did want to give a shout out. I was thinking earlier about this. If you suffer from chronic pain, fibromyalgia, really bad inflammation, joint damage and stuff, nettle tea helped me tremendously. And it helps so many people. And I just wanted to throw that out there. If anyone's like really looking for a good herbal tea that might support them with pain relief, nettle tea has done wonderful things to me. Stinging nettle tea. You can find it. You might have to order it online, but you can definitely find it. Lex, tell us a little bit about, what you got going on over there.
I always mix you up a special blend too of tea because I love working with nettles. Nettle tea is amazing, and you can add in and create like a blend for the evening that helps calm you, or one for the morning that helps kind of perk you up. So it's so much fun to have that custom ability with herbs, right? To mix it up like that.
It is. It is. And I found a new strain that I really like called San Fernando Valley, which I hadn't tried before, but I'm really into it. And it's made me feel good. And it's more sativa hybrid dominant, but super targeted for pain relief. And it's made me feel really good when I've used that. So I thought I'd throw that out there. And we are going to be doing new episodes of Token to Talk coming up soon, because we do believe that it is one of the herbs that we love to work with, and that has helped many of us, not all of us, but many of us at Sea Goddess Healing Arts to heal. And for me, I started using it for physical pain and for my body, and to get off opioids and all kinds of shit, and muscle relaxers and steroids and stuff. And then my byproduct was that I was able to help heal my anxiety, connect with spirit more. And there was all these other amazing things, kind of positive side effects that came of it. So it's something that we call her Mama Canna at Sea Goddess Healing Arts, and we don't like to turn our back on her one bit, because she's helped us.
No. And it's so funny because I feel like she's one of those essence, like the plant essence, the plant spirit that was given to us by source for a reason. Like, she's a fierce woman. And it's like, just like for all the generations of fierce women being prosecuted, it's our turn. It's the time. It's time for these beautiful, divine feminine energies to come in and be, given a safe place and taught again, right? Because this is magic. I think that the more we turn our back and, not bring to light all that Canna Mama can do, it's, we're putting people at risk. People are, getting subjected to things that are actually killing them more so helping them. And like one of the ways that I really see it is I know some foundations that support Canna vets. And it's one of those things where knowing the statistics and what a lot of these pharmaceuticals end up causing, and how they can heighten, and exacerbate certain things. And, you know, people are being held back from finding the healing and relief and connection they need. And it's so funny because cannabis was thought of, right, in a lot of these prophecies, a lot of these books, a lot of these ancient documents to be like a source. Like it was used as a connection to like open up and connect, right? You drank the tea to gain the wisdom, to connect, to go in word and find that channel or learn how to connect to that channel. So I feel like it's so sacred, and they wanted to just take that, somebody wanted to snuff out the sacredness of it, right, and turn it into something also a little negative. So I think we got to bring that sacredness back of this plant and her essence and her spirit, because that's the healing part, right? That's where the healing part can really come in. So
Totally. And like, think about it. Like, if it's gonna illuminate your inner light and help you to heal, how are all these other things going to profit? Which is something we like to talk about on Unschooled a lot. It puts other businesses out of business, and that's where a lot of the issue comes in with it. That's where a lot of the war comes in on it. And I remember just feeling like, because I was like the opposite. I'm like the extreme case where like I was like the good kid, and I went through the DARE program, and I started a thing in high school called Refuse to Use, where you got a free season's pass to the mountain if you pledged to be substance free. You didn't get drug tested or anything. You just like a pledge, and then you showed up to these events I would throw, like that would be alternatives to like getting high, or like give you a natural high. So we had like Battle of the Bands and like cool things, and it was
the
fun. And so but I didn't know, because I didn't smoke weed back then. My family members did. A lot of people in my life did. A lot of my friends did. I didn't judge or care. I just was like, whatever. Like, I just feel like you could get naturally high. And then I had a lot of things happen. I broke my back 3 times. But the second time I had broken my back, it really took it out of me. And I was on all these different painkillers, muscle relaxers, and steroids and all kinds of stuff. And actually my brothers were like, why don't you get off all of that and just try smoking weed for a month and see what happens? And I never had before. I had smoked a tiny bit, like a little bit here and there, like, but nothing like, using it medicinally. And so I did, and it worked. And I was able to get off all of my other stuff. I was able to start healing. I was moving better. And I'm like, why was I lied to my whole life? Like, I was angry for a while. I'm like, why would they say this? Why would they say that this would be so horrible and addictive and all this stuff, when it was like, this is healing me in so many ways. And can it be addictive? For sure, but it's actually not physically addictive. Can it be addictive in the sense that it's super comforting and, it's like popping your medicine? For sure, but it's different. People don't die, or so they say so far, of a cannabis overdose. And so I was definitely like bummed about all that. It was definitely something that I took, to heart. And then I was like, all right, well, this is bullshit. And why are they keeping this a secret? What else can it help with? And then I started wanting to do research on it. So, yeah, I'm glad we're talking about this a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny because I come from a mom who was definitely from the propaganda era of reefer madness. So to me, every time I hear that Sublime song that starts off with reefer madness, I
Mm.
just crack up, because it's exactly what my mom grew up, that was instilled in her, right? That it was like the devil's lettuce, that it's satanic, it's horrible, it's this awful thing, right? And so it's watching her put something down that she could probably actually really benefit from. It's a little painful, but I'm like, it's just the propaganda, and knowing why too. I went down that rabbit hole. I've gone down that rabbit hole. You talk about the why. Why would they do this, right? Man, that rabbit hole gets me fired up to know about how the Rockefellers went around to the colleges, right? And they gave them grants to actually discredit naturopathic history and facts. And the thing was, a lot of the naturopathic remedies, and that was handed down. And some of the oldest like healthcare knowledge, I guess, however you want to word it. And to know that that was how they were able to push their pharmaceuticals, which were then made from petroleum, which then benefited them, which then added to that, that gross empire that is trying to control. And it's just so scary. It gets me so mad, because I know that most of the pharmaceuticals are based off of a natural compound. Most of them are
Right?
a natural compound. They're just trying to
And then it gets tainted. It's like just enough.
already really occurring, or you know.
Yeah.
So to me, when I learned, I was like, mind blown. Like, why? Because they want to use their products, right? They
And
want
why not? Yeah, and why not go straight to the source? Because if we grow it ourselves, if we do all of that, then we're not able to. Oh, hi, Jean-Pierre, Kimbra. Thanks so much for hopping on. We actually are not big fans of people trolling and reaching out to our guests and asking them to DM them. We believe that if Spirit truly has a message, they will come to you and they will book time with you because they enjoy your time and energy. So thanks for stopping by, but I'm going to send you on out now. And it's interesting too because just think of the other things too. Like it grows almost anywhere. It's incredibly resilient. You're
you
able
know
to
that
use it for sustainability and for
it's
paper products. Go
it
ahead.
the soil. It's an actual plant that can help the soil, that can help the full economic system. The fact that we can then make so many products from its byproduct, right? We can make some of the best fabric, paper. We could even finally have a clean, what is it, fossil fuel, right? Or not fossil fuel, what do they call it? A clean whatever. I mean, there's so much potential there that, and to think about too, if you go back, they were using hemp paper and hemp for everything, fabric. I mean, that was the original like trade back in what, Abraham Lincoln, what was that age, that era, that time period. So I
The
mean,
Civil War time, like 1800s.
didn't the Declaration of Independence sign on hemp paper? I'm pretty
Stop
sure
it.
it is.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, I'm done. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Hemp paper. I'm Googling it right now. Declaration of Independence.
Fence is killing me.
A number of sites on the internet claim that the Declaration of Independence was written on paper made from hemp. As
No,
far as we know, this is not true. However, it
no.
could be. The finished document signed by the delegates to the Continental Congress was engrossed on parchment, which is made from animal skin. Interesting. However, we may never know the answer to that. We may know. Who knows? But either way,
I think there's a spot though that somewhere there's like a really good one that talks about why they
oh,
think
I'm sure.
and how it was the number one trade and all the things that it was used for at that time. So I'm just saying.
And that's just it. Hard telling, not knowing. We don't know. Things were crazy back then. Wild, wild energy. But it's interesting to think about. And it's interesting to think about what we could do with it in the future and all of these sustainable things.
We're thinking
Um,
we'll do
Serena also commented and said she's definitely going to check out the nettle tea now, which I'm really grateful
that.
that you're into that.
I see. I've been doing the nettle with the dandelion nettle, and is it burdock?
Oh, burdock's super powerful too.
Yeah, and I love that. And what I end up doing, because it ends up being like a full, it's good for your lymph system, it's good for your everything, your blood, it like detoxifies. And burdock's really good for worms, since I am all about my cleansing of parasites right now. I'm down that wormhole on the worm moon. The worm moon is setting me down a wormhole of parasites.
Well, it's interesting, and I pulled up some of the health benefits of stinging nettle because it is aligned with so many things. So, number one, it detoxifies, as we were
Yeah.
talking about. It's able to neutralize harmful toxins in the body and get things moving more steadier. It's super anti-inflammatory. It is incredible for, I lost my spot. For urinary tract infections, as well as pain and arthritis. It helps with blood sugar management. I've had several of my friends who suffer with diabetes say that it supported them and helped them with that. So there's lots of really cool things it can do. But I also know that it is It's up to you and your body. And when you drink it and when you try it and you give it a whirl, you're going to feel the difference. And sometimes it's going to surprise you, but it's got tons of antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. And another thing that I wanted to mention too, as we're planting our seeds and things are coming, something that grows easily and is really hardy is parsley. And it grows in super abundance. And just drinking parsley tea can help you with so many things. It has antioxidants. It's super supportive of your bone health. It's great for fighting cancer. It is amazing for protecting your eyes. It improves your heart health. It also has antibacterial properties, and it's easy to add to your diet in salads, in teas, in all kinds of different things. And Kara, she commented, "Hey, Kara," and she said, "I'm so happy to be amongst people on this side of the coin. Oklahoma wholeheartedly voted no to recreational cannabis to save the children. I'm happy we have medical cards, but still, so far to go here." Oh, that is hard. I was really lucky. I lived in Colorado actually in 2013 when it became legal. I think it was 2013. I moved out there, and then 6 months after, all of a sudden it was like, weed's legal. And I had missed like voting on it. And it was cool. And I was a social worker at Denver in the time, working at Colorado Coalition for the Homeless, and I was able to like just be around it and see the influx of people that moved. First of all, it ended up creating a housing shortage because so many people moved there to get medicine for their kids and for their family members. And there was a lot of studies in particular I remember reading just in the papers and different things about how it supported and helped kids with epilepsy. And a lot of kids with cancers and other things. And so there was this huge, once it legalized, there was a huge influx of people who moved there. It was hard on the infrastructure and the road systems because so many people moved there. But then they were making money and they were able to put some of that into the roads, I do believe is what ended up happening after a little while. It was kind of weird. Nobody was like taking the money or banking it, and they had to just like keep cash in caves and stuff. I don't know if it was really caves, but like secret vaults and different things. And it was kind of wild, but it ended up being really positive. We did have a hard time when I worked for the homeless because a lot of our housing got taken away because landlords were able to sell or to rent out for way, way more. And that made it harder for us to get people housed in when they were on voucher programs. So that was like a hard part about it, but that can happen anywhere. And it's important to account for that when that does happen. But overall, it was fascinating to see what legalizing it did in order to send out like it was just fascinating. It was fascinating to observe and to watch. And it did. It created so many healing opportunities for so many people. And it created a better economy. And I feel like, we're in all this debt. It'd be amazing what happened. It's like part of me, once the government, doesn't want the government's hand in it at all. But if the government's hand is going to be in it, I'd like to see it go to rebuilding this country and our infrastructure and our systems and our schools and all the things.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something that, it's exciting to see it become legal, but now there's all new battles, right, happening now around it. Like they're making it hard or so expensive too, So a lot of our locals I know are like going to the shops like, wow, this is like 3 times as much. But to support it, they'll support it. And I hope to see more states getting that because we deserve it. I always feared the medical card. I thought the medical card was great, but I feared it knowing what happened in California, knowing that these moms and these families were targeted that had kids and they would come in and they were just trying to help themselves and they would get their kids taken away and get in trouble because of the fact of it not being still on a federal level considered.
But you can totally be an alcoholic mom, no problem. And you
Yeah.
can totally have as many prescription drugs as you want and be driving on Xanax and all the things.
Yep.
That was the other thing. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, I'd much rather just smoke a joint and get high than be drunk. Like, this is a totally different thing. I remember everything. It's 0 calories. I'm just chill and relaxed. Like, drinking, for me was not in alignment. It made me really sick. I've got really bad gout. I come from a long line of alcoholics. It did not agree with me. I had been just, yeah, and that was another thing. Like, with my whole refuse to use as a teenager, like, I didn't want to drink at all growing up because I'd seen what it did. And then I did. I went to college and I played rugby and I started drinking, and it was just, it wreaked havoc on me. I was good for a little while. I could handle it and party and hang. But then it was like my body was like, oh hell no. And all my close friends know I would like puke like a demon for like 12 hours after. Like, it was terrible. And so then when I started, using the cannabis instead of my prescriptions that I was given, I was like, I just felt so lied to. I still, looking back on it, I was like, what? I'm like, why would they say that this is so horrible? And I was like, booze was way, way worse for me. So it's really fascinating how all this works. And this is part of Unschooled, is diving deep and experimenting and checking this out and seeing like what it actually feels like for you and for us, and what can help you on your healing journey.
Yeah, we all deserve to have access, I think, to the knowledge, right? Of being able to help ourselves. And it's so funny because just this morning I did a mental health Wednesday. We do this space in this group. And the lady was bringing up how the doctors told her she wasn't educated enough to research her own diagnosis. Meanwhile, she's very well educated and very much so an advocate for and works in the in the field of helping people with special people with disabilities and all of that stuff. And so she was like, but just the way they said it to me, it to this day sits wrong with her. And I'm like, it sits,
Yeah.
hear that. And it is, it's like, they want us to just put our life in their hands. And my recent experience personally, I was questioning, the doctor's getting mad that I had questions. Do you know what I mean? Was
Yeah.
mad that I thought I knew something about myself.
I've definitely experienced that. The time where I thought I had gout for 10 years and every doctor told me I didn't. And I was like, but I'm overweight. But it runs in both sides of my family. But I have this pain that just really seems like that's what it is. Nope, you got tendonitis. Nope, you got joint damage. Nope, 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 nope.
And they
You
wouldn't give you
definitely don't have gout. And then I had surgery, ankle reconstruction surgery, and they're like, sorry to tell you this, but do you know you have gout? And I was like, thank you. And my surgeon's like, I've never heard anyone say thank you for telling me that they have gout. I was like, yo, I've been trying to find this out for 10 years. And every single doctor talked me out of it. Every single doctor told me, no, that's not possible. You
yeah.
don't, you can't, like, whatever. And I'm like, I really think I do. And so my surgeon was able to test it to find out if it was gout or pseudo gout, because there's two different kind of versions, and it was definitely gout. And I was like, thank you. And then I was able to start treating it. And then that was my first medical medium cleanse. And then I started getting better. And that's when I tried nettle tea about a year after that for the first time. And I mean, I like took a sip of it and it was like kind of one of those like I don't know, it hit something and I just chugged the whole thing and was like, I need more of this. Like my vessel was like, hello, this is what you needed.
Yeah, that's how I feel about my daily, well, or my nettles are in. They're in with my dandelion and the days I miss it, I don't know why. I don't miss it. I usually don't miss it because it's just part of refueling my body because it feels so good.
Yeah.
It really does.
What are you gonna read over there? What books were you scrolling around in?
Oh, I was just looking in, my good old natural healing with herbs.
Mm.
My favorite, my high usage books. About the nettles and just how it's good for rheumatic pains. It can stop bleeding. Good tea is good for diarrhea, dysentery, piles, hemorrhoids, gravel in the kidneys. The tea will expel phlegm from the lungs. It can also be used as a hair rinse to restore natural color and help fight baldness. A lot of our shampoos are making us women, our hair, messing with our hair. And so we need to know that.
I'm really ready to figure out how to make my own. I've tried a couple, but I want to make my own. And I know a lot of people simply just use apple cider vinegar
Yeah.
and stuff.
Or doing like a rinse even it's like apple cider vinegar with like, I call it like a tea where it's apple cider vinegar, and then I do like a what have I been using? Like there's like 3 herbs I've been using in it. and I just make like a little, it's like a little tea and apple cider vinegar, rub it in and like wrap it up with like some plastic wrap so the heat, so that it absorbs before I go into the shower. And it's amazing. The conditioning part is where I'm having a hard time. Figuring out a way to be able to condition my hair without leaving it super greasy and coated. So far, the mayonnaise trick has been the best, but I can't do it on my scalp. Otherwise, I have like greasy scalp. But
See, I'm like naturally oily hair, so I want to figure that out. But I do like to have like a decent conditioner. And maybe it's like, have you tried coconut oil as a conditioner yet? I have not.
I feel it's way too oily, so I have to do it like as a mix. So I'm working on it. I even tried some of Lush's hair bars at one point that were like raved about, and I liked them. They weren't too bad. The rice water has been one of my favorites. I feel like that really helped with the hair strength and growth.
Hi, Ray Dares readers. Thanks for stopping by. We do not appreciate you reaching out and trying to troll people. It's not good energy. If someone wants a reading, they will contact you and they will come to you for that. So thanks for stopping by, and we send you love. Take care. All right. So we have about 10 more minutes, and then Lexi and I have got some stuff we've got to go do. We've got another meeting at 2:00. But what else is on your heart or mind that you might want to discuss today, Lex? Anything rising at the moment?
Oh my gosh, I have to bring up about this whole how funny I feel like the work of bringing your awareness to being a more positive self-talker or thinker is, because this has been like my biggest thing lately, right? Um catching myself being negative, thinking negative, talking to myself negative, and then trying to counteract it. And I feel like this is probably like the Truman Show. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
I feel like at times, because I'm like, wait a minute. No. And I'm on my kids about it too, because I noticed they were so mirroring to me that bad habit. So I was like, okay, so I have to mirror back, right? A good habit for this. So we're all challenging each other. And so they hold me accountable too. They'll be like, no, mom, now you gotta say it 3 times. Say something nice, say it 3 times. And
That's
so,
my favorite.
it's just hilarious because like I'm accident prone. Okay. I'm a walking, I don't want to, I'm trying not to, I always called myself a walking shit show. And so I'm trying to find new words to to counteract that, but I'm like, it just feels so fitting sometimes, right?
Nothing wrong with that.
Like this morning I spilled my water down my pants and into my boot, and I had like a slushy boot, and it was like, I'm just gonna smile through, turn the music up, and I was like, I'm so proud. I'm smiling through this. I'm not gonna let it get me down. And I knocked something over, and I'm like, look at me go. Like having to have that inner like that inner, just trying to just be my own hype girl. I can be
And
every
it's okay to have that release of that, like, that sucks. That
yeah.
hurt. Like, oof, like let it out. And then, all right, literally nothing I can do about it right now. So, you know what? All is well. And off I go. I love that. And Serena said, I love how gracious you are to trolls. We try to be. We came up with a script on our other show, Spirit Speaks with Crystal, the Mid-Mitten Medium. And she is really fun with it.
On point.
But it's just, it happens all the time, and we can be weird about it or whatever, but we might as well call people out a little bit, and we might as well give them an opportunity to learn. And in the meantime, let our people who enjoy watching and our participants know that like true readers are not going to come target you like that. And it happens all the time, and it happens for so many of our greatest teachers, and you see Instagram get hacked all the time and people's stuff. So I always like to share it as like a learning opportunity. And Kara said, thank you, beautiful souls, for sharing your energy and knowledge today. Oh, such an honor, Kara. Thank you for holding space with us.
Thank you for coming, Kara. I know it's always so. I'm glad we have our Wednesdays now for Unschooled, because there's just so much that's rising, and we need the integration space. I almost feel like Unschooled is like integration for the work, right? And the knowledge and the energies, and a space for us to just, I it always feels good to be able to laugh about things too, bring light to the heavier stuff.
Totally. And I was just thinking maybe I should try to read a little Louise excerpt since you brought that up.
So the parasites with the worm moon, I got to tell you how perfect it was.
Oh, yes, please.
Listen to it. So according to Louise Hay, right? Parasites, giving power to others, letting them take over. And the affirmation is, I lovingly take back my power and eliminate all interference. Isn't that such a great affirmation for this full moon? So I challenge everybody for I lovingly take back my power and eliminate all interference.
Thank you.
So
it is. Amen. Aho. I love that one. Okay. So, Louise, anything you'd like to share today? Relationships. Attracting love. Love comes when we least expect it, when we are not looking for it. Hunting for love never brings the right partner. It only creates longing and unhappiness. Love is never outside of ourselves. Love is within us. Don't insist that love comes immediately. Perhaps you are not ready for it. Or you are not developed enough to attract the love that you do want. Don't settle for anybody just to have someone. Set your standards. What kind of love do you want to attract? List the qualities in yourself, and you will attract a person who has them. You might examine why you might be keeping love away. Could it be criticism, feelings of unworthiness, unreasonable standards, movie star images, fear of intimacy, a belief that you are unlovable? Be ready for love when it does come. Prepare the field and be ready to nourish love. Be loving and you will be lovable. Be open and receptive to love. I love that one, especially because we put so much pressure on ourselves to be like in a relationship and to be, fitting this mold that we all kind of co-created and stuff. And what we've come to realize and what we're learning all together right now in particular is what true love really is, and how in order to have a happy, healthy, truly balanced relationship, you have to have 2 or 3 or whatever it is, happy, healthy, whole souls coming into this relationship. My definition of that is someone who's able to care about themselves, enjoy company with themselves, has a few passions, has things a little balanced. Doesn't mean you're perfect, doesn't mean, that you have everything in the world right, but it means that you can be alone with your own company and enjoy it. It means that you enjoy who you are and you start to love yourself and you start to want to spend time with you. And then when you have another relationship, whether it's a friend or a sibling or a loved one or a spouse or whatever, they add to that. And you guys create a whole nother energy because it's like 2 or 3 or whatever it is, however many people are in your relationship coming together after they've been able to find their own happiness and foster that and keep that going within themselves. Then we truly are giving from an empty cup. Doesn't mean we're perfect. Doesn't mean we're happy all day, every day. Just means in general, we've got a pretty good grasp on that. What do you think, Lex?
Yeah, I always love the saying that is, you can only receive as much love as you hold for yourself. And so, or give as much love as you give to yourself, however it goes. It's the same. I feel ways. It's, we can't pour from an empty vessel. And so it's one of those things where I feel like to be able to love, you have to love yourself, to be able to truly love and see it in, outer relationships. That love with your inner relationship for yourself needs to be, the focus, the priority, in alignment, in its goodness, in a good place, being nurtured, being cared for, being given respect, right?
I'm feeling called to end today's Unschooled by pulling us a goddess card, actually. Love your inner goddess. And then we'll tell you a little bit more about how you can follow us. Please like, share, subscribe. Lexi, tell us actually about Goddesses in Recovery. When's the next one?
Yeah, so we meet every other Sunday at 3:33 p.m. And it is just this nice sacred space to show up to and just kind of lay it on the altar. It's one of those spaces for us to co-create together, you know, allow whatever is rising to kind of lead the discussion. And then we also make sure to make time to just kind of, you know, pray, send out love, and just hold that, you know, that soul space, tap in and check in with ourselves and connect. And then send that love out to people that are going through addiction, battling it, have loved ones in it. So it is a beautiful space to just come and sit and feel supported.
Absolutely. And the next one is not this Sunday, but the Sunday after, right?
Correct. Correct.
Beautiful. And we have a couple things coming up in person. As I said, we've got the how to build a relationship with your angels coming up. That's going to be at Zen Landing Wellness Studio Thursday, March 9th. So tomorrow night, I hope you can join me if you're in person, and you can register right on the Zen Landing Wellness Studio site. And there's a link to that from our Sea Goddess website. Ursula is going to be having some pop-up readings that are going to go on at Island Therapy in Summers Point. That's on March 24th. I'm going to be doing an EFT tapping workshop there as well in Summers Point, March 27th at Island Therapy. And then the very end of March, on March 30th, Ursula is going to be doing an in-person Shifting with Saturn and Pluto at Island Therapy. Then online, as Lexi talked about, we have Goddesses in Recovery coming up, not this Sunday, but the Sunday after. And that's a free group for anybody who's in recovery or supporting anyone in recovery to come together and talk about it. We have 3 other online classes. We have a self-love and care 101 workshop. That's going to be on a Saturday morning from 11 to 1 online on Zoom. So anyone can join. And it's our spring renewal workshop. You'll see that online. Excuse me. And we also have online at the end of the month, March 22nd, Ursula is going to be teaching how to create more magic with lunar cycles. So that could be fun. And then once a month, we always do an online soul circle for $11.11. And this month, it's going to be absolutely beautiful. And that will be Tuesday, March 28th. So I hope that you all can join us for some of these things. And we love and are so grateful you're joining us on our new lives. We've got Spirit Speaks on Mondays, or on Tuesdays, Unschooled on Wednesdays, and then on Thursday nights, we're doing live readings with people from the Sea Goddess team. Tomorrow, I'll be teaching Angel class, and so Ursula will be anchoring it, and hopefully Lexi and Jessie will be hopping on too. Excellent confirmation from Lexi. So thank you all. We appreciate your love and support. And if there's anything we can do to help you, just let us know and give us a like, a share, a follow, a subscribe to our website. We've got a great newsletter that comes out, and we just appreciate you. So we're going to pull a goddess card to end our session. Goddesses, what would you like those watching Unschooled to know most today? From the goddesses. Ooh, White Sage. Oh, I love this card and have not visited her in a while. White Sage. So this is from the Love Your Inner Goddess deck by Alana Fairchild. She's an incredible teacher. It's safe to let things unfold as they will. You don't need to fix things nor try to force something to happen. The universe is already working things out for you. There is no need to question your vision or your intuition just because situations are working out differently than how you thought that they would. The universe is a little bent and certainly has a sense of humor, but ultimately it is kind and knows the best way to accomplish all that needs to happen. You are very much a part of this. All things will come together in the correct way at the best time. The universe has your back. Trust that you're being helped. You have insights. You can see things that others may miss. You understand that to see what is true, you have to look beneath the surface. Your soul is a sage, a wise one. You know the value of patience, even if it isn't always easy for you to be patient. You know that sometimes you must wait, but that the truth will always emerge eventually. So you don't need to rush in or try to figure something out. White Sage comes to you when you need to know that the truth will become clear at the right time and in a way that you will recognize. Trust your intuition and value your insight. Don't torment yourself with doubt because you think that you've made mistakes in the past. Sometimes we need to have certain experiences and challenges in order to grow, and we are temporarily blocked by a higher power from seeing the truth until we are ready for it. For now, all you need is patience, honoring, and trust. At the right time, you will see and understand, and so in time will others. Don't lose your power to worries about anyone or anything. Be at peace with yourself and your life, and when the time is right, you will know what is true and what to do. The highest truth will always shine through. I just
Mm.
love that one. The white sage. Thank you all so, so much for joining us on Unschooled today. We appreciate and love you all. Lex?
Yes, thank you. Enjoy this full moon energy. Use it to your highest good.
Yes, and we will be back next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Thanks for tuning in to Unschooled. Take care. Bye-bye.